Let's discuss how Git stores data and what issues you might run into. I'm on Windows. In the MSys2 system in the terminal, I configured Git with these 4 options, but I did not set the option to have automatic conversion of the end-of-line sequence. In fact, I'm going to set that to false. VS Code can detect the end-of-line sequence. Click on the file, and we can see here the encoding and the end-of-line sequence. There are 2 main conventions: the carriage return line feed that is used by Windows and the line feed that is used by Unix. So that includes Linux and Mac. I'm going to create a new file. Let's check what the convention is. It's going to be of the Windows type. There was one file that was created by an extension and not by VS Code. That was the make file. And the make file is actually of the Unix convention. So extensions need to work cross-platform on Windows, Mac and Linux, and the developer chose as a convention to have the Unix end-of-line sequence. You can also see what the end-of-line sequence is in the terminal with the file command. And if it's of the Windows type, it will explicitly say the carriage return line feed. We can run the file command on all of the files. We can do that with the find and execute file on everything that is there. And we can see we have 2 files that are in the Windows convention. Vim can tell information on the type. So we can do vim on the source main F90, open it, and it will tell you it's a DOS or a Windows file. We can also do that with the make file. And vim says it's a Unix type. So we can explicitly convert with Unix to DOS on the make file. And it will now switch to the Windows type over here. And we can also convert back DOS to Unix on the file and switch it back to the Unix convention. We can do the same graphically. Click on the file and change the LF to CRLF. Save. We've now set it in the Windows convention. Click on the file and change it back to LF to have the Unix convention. So next what I'm going to do is add this on the source control of Git and then upload to GitHub. Let's do a git init. I already created the .gitignore, so all files can be added with git add dot. They're now staged, and we can do a git commit. Next, let's go over GitHub, create the repository, git demo. I'm going to make it private, create repository. And then we need to copy and paste these 2 lines, the git remote add. And the git push. So this uploads to GitHub. Next, let's go to the Mac and download. So we can do that with git clone. Get the files over here and run that same find command. And we see that we get the same 2 files back that are in the Windows convention. So that means that Git does not change what you give it. So Git tracks what is called blobs, and blobs is just a sequence of bytes. A blob in Git will contain the same exact data as a file. It's just that the blob is stored in the Git object database and a file is stored on the disk. So Git does not care about end-of-line sequences, it stores whatever sequence of bytes that you give it. Let's see what an editor does. So we can check what vim does when we edit the file. I'm going to add something, save it, edit again and remove it. And we see we get the same file back. The working tree is clean. So when vim opens it in the DOS mode, but does not change it. So editors like vim will honor the end-of-line sequence settings and will not change it. So problem starts when you have an editor that converts the file to a native format and changes that end-of-line sequence. Let's try to compile it. we can see we have an error. And one of the issues is that the object directory is not here. So let's go back to Windows and see why that's the case. And it's because the object directory is empty. Now blobs corresponds to files. There are no files in the object directory, so there's no blob to give to Git. So Git ignores empty directories. So if we would like to include the object directory, we need to put something in there. So what we could do is put a readme in there. I'm going to do an alternative, and that is to put a git ignore file in here. And the reason is we don't want any of these object files here anyway. So we can add this content, which basically ignores everything in this directory except the .gitignore itself. So let's add this file, commit, do git push to push it to GitHub, and on the Mac side let's pull it from GitHub. Let's do an ls, and now we have the object directory here. Let's do a make, and we can compile. However, we see another issue, that the executable is called here myapp, and on Windows it was called myapp.execute. And we put this one in the git ignore file, but not the myapp. So we can fix that. For example, edit the git ignore and add the myapp over here. But then we need to add the git ignore again. Commit. And push to GitHub. And finally we can do here a git pull. So these were some issues that you can run into. In the next video we're going to go into more detail about the end-of-line sequences.